The Acropolis in Athens receives thousands of visitors a day. They climb cobblestone paths built in the 1950s to reach the open space at the top. And here they are now met with a broad pathway that takes them to the Temple of Athena, known as the Parthenon. This pathway of poured concrete was laid down in the past few months, and it has outraged many seasoned visitors who say its breadth and the material it's made of disrespect the site. But those we spoke to liked it.
I thought that what they do have there wasn't sort of, it didn't feel like it wasn't in place, or that it didn't fit in. You didn't really notice it as like an eyesore or anything like that.
Critics suspect the new pathway aims to further commercialise the site by catering to a big increase in the number of tourists from cruise ships. Manolis Kores is in charge of restoration work at the Acropolis. He says he's merely restoring the path to what it used to be.
During the
Great Panathenaic Festival, 10,000 Athenians a day were able to enter through this gateway. That's what it was designed for. We simply never restored it due to inertia. When I took over the restoration works here, I realised this was something that couldn't go on. It wasn't the number of visitors who had access that concerned me. If it were merely 100 a day, they deserved to see what was here, rather than some idea restorers had in the 1950s.
The concrete pathway corresponds to the width of the original entrance to the Acropolis. For the past 20 years, entering and departing visitors have been confined to a narrow wooden walkway, which uses only one of 5 ancient doorways. But in classical antiquity, all 5 were in use simultaneously, and the ultimate plan is to restore access through all of them. Grooved stones left exposed serve as clear evidence this was the path's original width. And the concrete is easily removed because it sits on plastic sheeting that protects the bedrock. Perhaps most importantly, the new pathways are part of a plan to enable people with disabilities to access the site. And a new elevator now makes this possible.
We've been talking about disabled access to the Acropolis since the 2004 Olympics. Now we can say that any disabled person in the world who wants to visit the Acropolis can now do so.
This broadening of access is still a work in progress. Once the gateway is restored, a grand staircase will be too. It was only half built before a war stopped work 25 centuries ago. Only then, says the man in charge of the project, will people understand the Acropolis as it was designed by its original architects. Psaropoulos, Al Jazeera, Athens.